So the transfer window is officially open and Forest are not sitting on their hands. But what players do we need? What positions do we need? Who's being linked? And what do we think of it all? Welcome to the transfer special on the Forest Forum. Evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to the Forest Forum, where we are going to be talking about the fun stuff. I've been excited for this, man. Transfers, I just love them. The excitement, the rumors, everything's already starting to bubble up nicely. As always, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. And let us know in the chat, or if you're watching this later, what is the most important position that Forest need to fill this winter? And that's exactly where we're going to kick off with, because I'm going to go around the boys and I'm going to say to them to each pick a position, right, that they think is the most important. Maybe name a few little gems that they've done their research on, you know, be it as on what playing on FIFA or Rob on Champ Manager or just looking at the Premier League, I guess, with Ant. But let's see where this leads. So let's kick into it. Get your highs in the chat as well. Oh, God, Nketiah. Vic saying Nketiah, man. He's right, though. Biggest flop. So, all right, let's kick this off with you, Antonio. What are you saying, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Unlike Wolfie up there, I'm not a big fan of the transfer window. I find it tedious. I get fed up with all the links. I'm fed up with all this player, that player. In fact, I don't even bother swiping on Nottingham Evening Post site until somebody's holding the shirt up. So that's me. That's my little bit on the transfer window. I think it's fairly obvious.
Way to kill the mood, mate. Everyone in the chat's excited about
not just
it.
Me. No, I know I'm
old fart.
I know I'm, there again, it can be lonely being right. Anyway, I think the obvious. the obvious, I found out, the obvious one is obviously a striker. I think we all agree. We probably all agree that we need either a striker to come in and, we need one to challenge Chris Wood, because I think all of us are a little bit. I'm not right. I did write Taiwo off, but I'm not actually writing him off right now because, we don't know. He was a decent striker for us. If we cast our minds back, he was pretty good for us. So I've kind of changed my mind a little bit on that. I'm willing to just say, well, he may, if he doesn't go elsewhere, he may get his mojo back and come back towards the end of the season and be very valuable for us. So I'm not totally writing him off. But nevertheless,
sorry, let me just quick question. Sorry to put in, but if we do get a serious offer for Taiwo, and obviously there's players linked with us, would you be happy to see one in, one out in that situation?
Yes.
Or do you still think we need three strikers?
Yeah, I would. I prefer though for us to bring someone else in and have three potential number nines or across the front three rather than just two, because if Taiwo doesn't pull it out of the bag, then we're in big trouble if Chris Wood gets an injury. So I'd like to bring in somebody that is going to challenge Chris Wood, not challenge Taiwo. I want him to challenge for the first place, not second place.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see if that. I mean, we're going to discuss possibles. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. But it depends on who we bring in. But I'd like to bring in somebody that I feel can challenge Chris Wood, because I think we're going to need it. I think there's 19 games left plus the cup games, however far we go in that. And I think it's a very dodgy situation for a team that's third in the Premier League to be relying on Chris Wood purely from an injury point of view. I'm happy as anything with his performance and goal scoring. No issue there. But, he's 33, I believe. He's 33. So chances are he's going to pick up something during the rest of the season. So for me, it would be a striker and a good striker. I don't want us to bring in somebody that would say, he'll be good in a couple of years or whatever. I want somebody who's going to be able to come in and do well straight away. So I'll leave it at that for the time being and let you guys have your say on
yeah, just before you jump in. Sorry, 1 second. Are we okay with PSR? So the official answer is no one knows. They got submitted on the 31st. But our calculations are usually pretty good. We called that we were going to be in trouble before Jono got sold. As far as we've done our maths, Forest are fine and can spend. And don't forget, Forest were trying to buy a striker at the end of the summer window with Gimenez, with Marmouche, etc. So there's money in the pot as far as we know. But if anyone turns around and says to you they know for sure, then they don't know. Because I think Kieran's still crunching the numbers last we spoke with him anyway. But the feeling is that is the case. And shout out to Richard with the £2. He says we need strikers. I couldn't agree more, mate. Sorry, as you were going to jump in on the strikers.
Let me just ask a question on the back of what you've just said there. With the announcement of the owner converting his shares, converting the debt into shares, does that help us towards PSR?
No.
No? Okay.
Not at all.
No. What it does do, if I may just
interject.
The thing is that at the moment they are interest-free loans. And when they changed the PSR rules, one of the aims is, because that was one of the big things that Manchester City were on about. Hang on, how come these teams can have interest-free loans from their owners? Yeah. So I can understand where they're coming from. So from the new PSR rules, which I believe are coming in the summer, you will not be able to have interest-free loans off your owner. You will have to pay interest on it. So by Mr. Marinakis converting that 82 million into shares, that negates that changing the rules, so we'll be okay.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's not the PSR rules; it's the APT rules, the ones that are changing in a couple of weeks.
I agree with you, but that still nevertheless affects your PSR in the long term.
Yeah, it's all about the finances.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's kind of going ahead of a curve, basically ahead of a trend. By
what he's doing in a couple of weeks, he won't be allowed to do that, basically. So he's written off 82 million in debt, which technically means it's an interest-free loan. Forest is convert that into shares, and that just means Marinakis doing
which means the only way you can get if you've got an interest-free loan, obviously he can call that loan in at any time, and the club will then owe him 82 million. The way that it's done now is that it's converted into shares, so the only way you can get that money back is by selling those shares, selling the club, which we know he doesn't want to do. So it's good, it's really good for us.
In effect, he's written off the debt. Like Laban's way of saying it.
So back on topic, which is the question kind of I was going to ask Ant, because he's talking about strikers, and by asking Ant, I'm putting it out to the rest of the panel and chat, is what kind of age range are we looking for this striker? What would you ideally look for, Ant?
For me, honestly, right now, with us being in third in the league, I don't care. Just someone that can score goals. I don't care if it's a 23-year-old that can score or a 30-year-old that can score. I'm not worried right now about the future. I want us to secure our European place. So for me, goal scorer, I don't care what age he is.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's somebody who I think we can look to for the future as well, for at least a 2
That's
3
the
seasons.
ideal.
That's the ideal. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's a difficult market anyway in January, and to get what you want is not always so easy. But on to Rob. Rob, you talk about
shall I do the defensive?
Let's stick on the strikers. Let's kind of finish this off as a section. So far, I think you guys are all in agreement we want strikers. But let's start talking names. So you've got Marmoush, who's not linked this window, who we were close with. Gimenez is still linked with Forest. He's recanted what he said. It wasn't about Forest being in a relegation battle. It's about the fact he was worried he wouldn't be in front of Chris Wood, if you believe the recent reports. We've got Ferguson, who is linked with Forest. There's talks about a loan. Apparently, there's been some discussions with West Ham and Forest about him coming from Brighton. And there's a couple of Brazilian kids. So you got Yuri Alberto, who's heavily linked. And you've also got the Dallas striker, FC Dallas, who we'll talk about tomorrow. We don't need to touch on him tonight. The Croatian there, and a couple of others. So are any of those names tickling your fancy there, Rob?
Well, the obvious one is Gimenez. But obviously the history that we've got with him makes it a bit of a problem, because he's clearly, if I was being kind to him, I would say he's not being well advised. Now, I mean, the thing is that either he believes he's better than Chris Wood, in which case his performances would hold down that first place, or he thinks he's not better than Chris Wood, in which case he needs to stop. I mean, nobody can contractually demand that they're picked. You know what I mean? It's like the minute that you sign for somebody, you're an employee.
Before you go off on a rant, sorry, mate. Before you go off on a rant, don't give too much credence to newspaper reports, right? Don't assume that because the newspaper had said this, or even if he said it.
Yeah, I
that
know.
could
We're
impact what he
assuming
said.
was that if you believe the reports. Let him finish. Let him finish. Go on.
Right. So
Yeah, but if he's going to go on a 20-minute rant about it,
He's
it's a
not.
bit
Just
waste of
carry on.
time.
and I've waited 11 minutes to make my first point.
Wow,
and I
he's
got
keeping
just
track.
into
Wow.
it, right?
Anyway, let's continue. Go on,
Yeah,
Rob.
Oh, God, it's not
I'm
war.
looking after you, mate. I don't want you to go down the wrong
Okay,
path.
I'll
here.
do the looking after. Go on, Rob.
Right. So
No, you
I
won't.
think the problem is that there's very few Premier League clubs that want to sell their top scorers in January, right? So it is a bad time to buy, certainly from in the Premier League. But I think personally, I've reevaluated my opinion on this transfer window over the last couple of days. I thought that we were in a really strong position because we were second, now third. And, you know, we've got a lot to offer people, particularly as a striker, because we've basically got Chris Wood and then no backup. So whoever signs is going to get game time, right? And with somebody like Ferguson, for example, he's currently third in the pecking order behind João Pedro and Welbeck. You know, it's a perfect move for somebody like that. But the problem that we've got is, you know, from listening to the mainstream media, etc., almost nobody, in fact, nobody thinks we're going to finish in the Champions League positions this year, right? Everybody thinks that Forest are a flash in the pan and we're going to drop out and they'll all be able to say, told you so at the end of the season. So even though we think our current league position gives us a lot of bargaining power, I think, you know, even for somebody like Gimenez, we're a risk, right? Because we could drop like a stone to 7th or 8th, and we might not even get Europa Conference from his point of view. And he's traded a slot in a Champions League side for that, right? So I almost think that whereas I thought we were going to have a massive transfer window this time round, I actually think that we're patching things up because we're going to have to make it to the summer. We're going to have to do it more or less with the players that we've got to prove that we're a Champions League team. Then we can have a fantastic summer. So I think that a lot of the people that we're looking at might well be stopgap solutions. Sorry to say that. I know everyone was getting excited about this.
No, you're making an interesting point because I have seen it in the comments over the last few videos, and I'm seeing, you know, shout out to Ash. He's saying Gimenez, yeah. I have noticed that because we are third in the league, a lot of the fans think we can now go and get an Mbappe or whatever. Are you boys in agreement with what Rob says? The realism factor is still there in terms of who Forest can attract, or do you think third in the league, best league in the world, as they say, you know, should that be enough of an attraction?
Personally, I don't think it makes any difference. I think it's down to the fact that it's a January window. I think we'd have a lot more power and strength in the summer transfer window, but I don't think it's anything to do with our position right now. But there are teams who's available. Now I want to throw in a name that nobody's really mentioned, but if we're looking for stop, it depends what we're looking for. If Nuno's looking for a long-term, he's looking for something immediate, but also for longer term, then you're in a totally different market. And I don't think January is the market for that. But if you are looking for a stopgap, players who are coming to end of their contracts, who you might get on a 6-month loan or whatever, that's where I think we're going to have to be looking. I don't think you're going to be getting the key striker, which is the position we're looking at, in the January window without way paying over the odds. So I don't think it's a great time. I don't think it's anything to do with our positioning right now. I don't think any teams are going to be attracting the top players in January.
I would say that if Gimenez or Ferguson would come, then either of them, I think, would be ideal. That and I think, you know, we go from a small pool of people who are prepared to come at this stage, and I think either of those would be a difference maker. And I just want to say about Taiwo, I'm afraid I'm now personally over Taiwo. I think he needs to move on this window.
Yeah, clip him.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, but until we get somebody in, I don't want us to.
No, obviously not until we get somebody in.
Not writing him off.
But I mean, honestly, if you look at the goals that Chris Wood has been scoring recently, could Taiwo have scored any of those goals? No, he was good for one thing, which is breaking from deep, scoring a one-on-one with a keeper under Steve Cooper, right?
I think you're being too harsh, and
he's got a terrible first touch, and he's never got back to full fitness. I think we need to be a bit ruthless, and we need to be moving him on. If we can bring somebody in of the profile we've just mentioned.
And jump in, because
that is the talk. The talk is that Taiwo will be moved on if a replacement or another striker is found. I get what Rob's saying. I do agree his touch, Bambi, or nice as I call him. But let's not forget what he did do for us as well. You know what I'm saying? Is the player still there?
I mentioned in my first little bit, didn't I, that I've actually changed my mind. I'm willing to give him a bit more time and another go, providing we get somebody else in. There's no way I want us to settle for Chris Wood and Taiwo as our two strikers for different various reasons. He may come good, and if we bring another striker in, then we could find out. But we can't leave ourselves short, so we do need that striker. Let me just have a quick word about this Santiago Gimenez.
Please, I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm staggered at the naivety of the people, both in our chat and online, and you guys as well. I told you it's slowly being. Why does anybody care what Santiago Gimenez was meant to or meant not to have said in the summer? The guy was on absolute fire. He didn't turn out to be, but he looked like he had an array of opportunity in front of him. He looked at Nottingham Forest. We finished 17th in our first year back. We finished 16th last year. Or was it the other way around? I can't even remember. It's that long ago.
16, 17. Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you expect a kid that's playing for the champions of Holland, who are in the Champions League, to look at a club that he probably knows nothing about, who have struggled for 2 seasons, knowing that he may only get one chance at coming to the Premier League? If he blows that first chance, he's back in Holland or going back to Mexico, right? He's got one chance in the Premier League. Why do you expect him to come to what looked for almost everybody else in the football world to be a lost cause, a struggling side, which is very defensive and is hardly going to get any chances? Why would he come here? Why are you expecting him to do that? In fact, I'd question his ambition, to be quite honest. Yeah, I would, because why would you do that?
I agree.
Now, we're in January now, and we're third, and I think that does make a difference to how a player looks at Forest, because now I think a player would look at Forest and think, maybe they could finish in Europe. Maybe that would be a good place for me to go and display my talent and get a bigger move elsewhere. Because this is what I keep telling you. This is what foreign players do. Don't think they come here for Forest. They don't. Right? Like Murillo. I've said it before. So why would you? And if he can come in, say now, if he came in now and scored 10 goals between now and the end of the season, why are you bothered about what he said 6 months ago? And as regarding changing his story, I think that's his agent more than anybody else. The majority of these players, they've not got the fucking brains to use Twitter. Never mind go on it and produce their own things. So I reckon he's been told, hang on, that looked bad to the fans. You saying that you didn't want to go there because you thought they were crap. But if you say, oh, it's because you got such a great striker, I didn't know if I could break in. Maybe that softens the blow. That's my feeling. So I wouldn't write off him. I don't know if he's going to be good enough. You know my feelings about players from foreign leagues. There's no guarantees. You can be brilliant in Holland and shit in England, right? We know this.
It's been marked by John Van Crapness.
I'm not nailing my underpants to the mast on this.
Can I just put in somebody say?
I'm not saying we must get him and he will be brilliant. What I am saying is give the guy a chance. He, if he wants to come and he's the guy that our recruitment staff have identified, don't just say no because you think that he said that and for those reasons.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. Yeah,
is his agent his dad? Did I read that, or was it just his dad?
If that's the case,
that's
a disaster.
That's why I said he's been poorly advised. But I agree with everything you've just said there.
Well, I don't know if I do. Just before we carry on with this, we've had 250 votes for the priority. 87% of you want a striker, 8% want a CDM, 3% want a winger, and 2% want a fullback. I'm going to put a poll to see how you guys feel about what Gimenez has allegedly said in the press. And does it bother you or not? I'd say the reason it bothers me is because I'm not saying to the extent that if he comes, I'm going to have a freaking pinned up doll and put pins in him on him to, break his leg. I'm saying when you look at the overarching message from Forest this season is about team harmony. And if you got a dude coming in who thought he was better than us, how does that impact the dynamics on the rest of the team? Would be my, concern.
But that's not the reason he said it's because of Chris Wood. Come on, which one is it?
I think that reason's worse. I honestly thought, your crappy relegation is better. If you're saying that I can't get in front of Chris Wood, then I question how good
I agree. I think it's all rubbish. So,
permission to speak.
Can I refer you to Marino? We all know he refused Forest in the summer.
Marino,
yeah. And now I know he's been injured and he's been off. He's dropped off a little bit, but I think we all agree that he was a fantastic left back for us during his time when he was fit and playing. So, is it one rule for one and another for another?
No, I said the same thing about Moreno. I said I've got no problem with what he said 2 years ago.
I know you did. I did.
Hello,
go on, Rob.
Right.
Go on.
Do you not think that the final sign off on the signing of Gimenez would be Nuno himself? Now, I cannot believe that they would sign him without Nuno probably going out to Holland and sitting down with him and saying, like, look, mate, this is the situation. You've said certain things. We don't want you coming in upsetting our dressing room. But there's a fantastic opportunity here. Yes, we are reliant on Chris Wood. And look at him. He's 4th top scorer in the table. But at the end of the year, he may go on to Milan or whatever, or he may get injured or whatever. But this is a perfect opportunity. You could learn a few things from Chris Wood. But I've got confidence in Nuno that he would sort that out, and we would only sign him if Nuno was comfortable with bringing him in. And I'm very confident that the minute he sat down in that dressing room with all those players, he wouldn't be a cock. And he would fit in with the group. So that doesn't worry me
Rob,
at all.
We sent out a delegation twice to woo him.
Yeah, I don't think that necessarily included Nuno the first time.
No, the
problem with that is Nuno might say all that and it'd be a brilliant speech, and he might turn around and say, "Ke?" Because he's Mexican, isn't he? You know what I mean? He might not even understand.
Nuno probably speaks Mexican.
Spanish.
Yeah.
It's Spanish, isn't it?
It's not a language. Spanish is the language.
Is it? Oh, I don't know. I've never been. So okay.
Portuguese is very, very different to Spanish. Very different.
It's not.
It's a weird. It's a weird language. Portuguese. It sounds.
Hey, you barely mastered English, man. You can tell us about Portuguese now.
Okay.
All right. So on the poll, does what Gimenez said bother you? 39% have said yes. 61% have said no. Shout out to the 39%. Forest comes first. Comes first.
No, it doesn't. Not to
what?
No,
I've gone up to 62% now.
Yeah,
letting you know.
Yeah, have you added to it? Can I just say, where's the likes, guys? You got how many in? 400,
550,
520 on YouTube, and we got 172 likes, guys. Come on. I'm knackered, mate. Come on, give us a like.
Anyway. Those likes
can I just throw in a name that nobody's mentioned? And I'm talking about a stopgap. I did mention him back in the summer, and he's way off the radar. He's off everybody's radar, but I still think he's a decent player. Callum Wilson. He's out of contract in the summer.
He can't stay fit.
This is the problem, but he's not getting a chance. He's just not going to get in at the moment. He is fit at the moment. He's been fit for the last couple of months.
Still at Newcastle, right?
He's still at Newcastle. His contract's up in the summer as a stopgap, because we could possibly get him on a loan till the summer. We don't have to buy him.
I love that idea. But
he's a goal scorer.
He's the right physical profile as well. He's the right physical profile.
Fit. This is what I was saying earlier on about the age thing. I don't care. Bring Callum Wilson in if he's fit.
I mean, he's fit at the moment. That's all I'm saying. He's been fit for the last couple of months, but he's just not getting a game.
We could do him on a
he's fit because he's not played. As soon as he plays,
I know.
Do him on a Chris Wood deal, like a loan to buy or something like that. If he gets a certain...
No. Let's not do that again.
No, we don't need to buy him. We don't need to buy him.
Look at a loan.
Why not? Look, we might need 3 or 4 top strikers next year.
We might need
injury prone, but he's not.
How old is he? Isn't he 31? How old is he?
32.
No.
He's only played 4 games this season. I only mean on loan to someone. I'm not looking to buy him.
We agree, Ed. We're talking about Rob's idea of signing him. We don't want that.
No, I'm not signing
I'm saying
him.
That's how you actually persuade him to come, right? I mean, look.
And he'll be 30. He'll be 33 in February.
I'm 100% no on him.
But he could do a job. He could do a job.
I love that
depends
cliche.
what we want. We're not going to get a long term. I don't think we're going to find a long term.
Yeah, but Ez, I would just simply throw the question at you. Would you not rather have Ferguson on loan over Wilson?
Yeah. Of the two, I just added threw him in as another name because he's obviously not on the radar for anyone at the moment. But
I don't get this Ferguson hype. What have you seen him doing the last 2 years? Honestly, the guy does nothing. He's always injured, and he's behind Welbeck in the Brighton side.
I understand what you're saying, Anne, but he has had moments, and I think he's got a lot of potential. He's still young. That's what I'm banking on, the potential. As long as we can
I get it, and you're not alone, mate, because a lot of people agree with that. I personally don't.
Yeah,
I think he's been hyped. I think he's been hyped to heaven, and he's proven fuck all.
Yeah, but it's not about necessarily what he's done. I mean, Owen's agreeing with you, saying he's dreadful. My thing with Ferguson is he is a Nuno style system player. That's the key thing for me.
Nuno,
you can say what had Chris Wood done before he'd come. Yeah, he'd bag goals here and there, but a bit of a journeyman. Do you know what I'm saying? You could have said about Murillo, who's Murillo when we signed him. So sometimes these players need the right manager and the right system to thrive. So that's why I would take him.
12 matches, 1 goal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's about the system.
It does matter. It does bloody matter.
It does. Look at Gimenez.
I think they're a very progressive front foot team. They're not a defensive team.
No, I know, but I don't think he suits their system. I think Wolfie's right. He doesn't suit the Brighton system since this new manager's come in.
Right. I'm looking here at his minutes played, right? Those 12 appearances have been like 5 minutes, 11 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes.
Rob, why is that, Rob?
Yeah, but okay.
We're halfway
same applies to Taiwo. What did we just say about Taiwo? What did we just say about Taiwo? It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Calm down. Calm down.
We're not bringing him in and costing us a fortune. Taiwo's already here.
No, he would come on loan. Ferguson would be alone.
2 minutes. This half the season has gone. 19 games. Why has he got so few minutes? Why?
He's been injured. That's why, Anne. He's been injured.
Exactly. That's what we want, an injured player. He's been injured for 2 years.
You like the idea of Callum Wilson. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, but he's not going to cost what Ferguson costs, is he?
It's a loan. Ferguson's a loan.
You have to pay loan fees.
Is that a loan with an option?
The thing is, at the moment, no one's talking about an option. No one's talking about an option.
More information, by the way, because
here is Brighton and Hove Albion record. He has played 59 games. He has scored 13 goals. And you want this to be our next big thing, you?
What was Collymoore's record before he joined Forest?
Fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant. At Southend, it was
at Southend, mate. At Southend.
More than one every other game.
At Southend.
He's ripping it up.
Southend.
Danny Welbeck is injured. Danny Welbeck is injured, and therefore that makes it less likely they would sell Ferguson to us. Just throwing
Ferguson's got an injury now as well.
The guy that scored 13 goals in his entire career.
All right. Let's move on from him. Bloody hell,
Chris
man.
Wood's got 11 this season.
Grumpy old transfer.
Let's move on from Ferguson. My God, I didn't realize there's so much passion for non-Forest players.
I've never, you know why? It's because I've never understood it. When people go on about him on telling that, I think, what are you thinking? What are you looking at?
And were you for Nketiah in the summer?
Oh, shut up! I am.
No, okay. There we go.
Mic drop.
There we go.
Mic drop. Nice one.
Exactly. Would you take Wilson? 37% of the chat say yes. 64% say no. I got to say, this chat, as always, very educated. Well said. I'm going to talk about a player that I know Ez likes, and that was linked to Forest in the summer. Wissa or Wissa. I don't actually know which way it's pronounced. But 15 million, Forest tried to put a cheeky bid in for him. Can you see, or would you want Forest to go back in for him?
How much? Sorry, I just froze there.
Oh,
well,
you there?
Froze.
No, you're good.
Be careful, be careful, as I'm checking his stats.
Right, save a question again because I just.
Forest put a cheeky 15 million bid in for Wissa in the summer. Yeah. Wissa. Would you take him?
Yeah.
Would you take him?
100%. I'd take him. I think. He fits 2 roles as well because he can play that. He can play the Callum Wilson, not Callum Hudson-Odoi role, and as well as the central striker role. Very versatile, pacey. He's just got an eye for goal. He's just got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. And there's 2 players. There's 2 players from Brentford I want. You know, if we could get one of those, I'd I'd be over the moon. But Vista as a striking option, 100% I'd go for him, mate. And I'd pay up to 45 million for him. I think he's worth it.
How old is he? Does anyone know? Chat
I think
with
he's
me.
25.
28.
Oh, he's
28. Oh, he's too
I won't
old.
pay that much for him, man.
Too old. It's too old.
Yeah. So
He's
I
not
think the
too
thing
old.
is with Wissa and Mbuemo both fall into the category of players that we would be moving for in the summer. I can't imagine Brentford selling either right now. So
I agree.
28, yeah.
Are they
But I
low
like
on
both.
contracts? One of them's low on contracts. I can't remember which one. It might be Wissa. That's why we were after him
he's
in the
been
summer.
there
I
for
think
4 years, so he might be
That
out
sounds like he would have signed a new contract then, Rob, to be honest.
possibly, yes.
Scancast here. Wissa, is he that bald guy, right? Yes, he is
No,
that bald
yeah.
guy.
No,
Without the
that's
beard.
Wemo.
Not without the
that's
beard.
some Wemo. That's some Wemo.
No, they're both
They're
bald,
both
but
bald.
Mbuemo's
They're
got the
both
beard.
bald, bro.
Mbuemo's got the beard.
Yeah, but a Wemo is bald.
So is
shaved his
Wissa.
head.
Where's Wissa,
No,
man?
Wissa shaved his head.
Wissa's here.
He
It's how
shaved his head.
technical we get. The bald dude, right?
Okay.
Okay. The other one I want to talk about is
Yeah, they're
a
both pretty
winger.
bald.
Is a winger. So
Yeah.
moving into that position, was there anyone who was interested in a winger? I want to move away from strikers for a second because we're being linked
yeah,
I
with
still want to do defensive
Yilmaz.
midfielders. I still want to do defensive
Yilmaz-
midfielders.
Is he the only? Sorry, go on.
You do wing.
The rumors are with Yilmaz. The rumors are that Forest are about to put about a 16 million bid in for him. Galatasaray want way more than that, by the way. But he's quality.
I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
I think he's a
And then
fantastic.
the
You know
other
what? He's got-
side rumor. Hold on. The other side rumor. I don't know how true this is, but there are talks that Jota Silva might be moving on. I don't know how true they are. I've seen nothing to verify those reports, but they're doing the rounds.
I would spot. Go on,
Weren't
Rob, go on, Rob.
Olympiacos interested in Jota? And maybe it's
In the summer,
I mean,
yes.
Yes. So I would say we've got another spot for a winger for the simple reason that you might start a game with 2 and then you'll want to bring 2 on as subs. So therefore you might use 4 in a game. Now, thank God, all 4 are fit at the moment, apart from Hudson-Odoi had a knock, right? But if we had a situation where 1 or 2 of those 4 that we've got at the moment got injured, that's the kind of thing that could make us come a cropper in trying to stay in the top 4. So I think there's definitely room in the squad for one more winger. And I like some of the names that have been linked with us as well. I wouldn't be looking to ship any of those out at the moment. I think Hudson-Odoi, Elanga are playing okay at the moment. And I think we just haven't seen enough of Jota and Sousa to make any sort of judgment about them. I think Jota looks like a useful sub when he's come on. Sousa we just haven't seen enough of. So I wouldn't write either of them off yet. So definitely we should be looking to add one winger because that's the kind of thing where even though we've got 4, like I say, you might use all 4 in one game. And if 1 or 2 got injured, you're in trouble.
I agree. I think we should be adding.
So go on, Ez.
No, I was just saying we should be adding to our numbers, not looking to sell any of our wingers.
Particularly if we're getting into Europe. Absolutely. But I absolutely love Yilmaz. I think he's fantastic. He's got so much energy. He scores goals. He's great. He assists. He does everything. He never stops running about. He closes down. I think he's a fantastic player. And I can't believe that minus 16 million is worth a lot.
Wolfie, you probably know the answer to this better than most because I know how much of a huge fan of.
No pressure.
Right. There's a player that I've seen on the list of players out of contract, and this is a winger. There's a couple of wingers actually, but Ahmad, he's out of contract in the summer. Is that right?
He ain't going nowhere, man. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, what if they're in a relegation fight, mate? They've admitted it themselves. Did you watch a United stand this morning? We were just deciding which.
The problem is, if he were to
in.
become available, it wouldn't be Nottingham Forest he came to, mate.
Well, okay. So
Sorry
he's
to be
one
realistic,
name.
but sorry to be realistic, but yeah.
Okay, so there's another name. I think he's more realistic because he might want to come back to the Premier League. But Leroy Sané is out of contract in the summer.
What
as
a
well.
player! What a player!
He's quite old now, isn't he?
No,
28?
he's still only
Is that
28.
28, isn't he? I'd say that's
28, yeah. Well, in your when as soon as you say 28, normally you say no, don't want him.
Yeah, I know, but Sane's pure pace, man. Oh, and he's
Can you imagine the wages? Can you imagine the wages he'd command?
He was linked with
Arsenal,
Arsenal, wasn't he?
You're gonna play Champions League wages, man. If you want Champions League players, or
Yeah, like you say, Ed, I think summertime. If we are in the Champions League, our horizons are endless. You know what I mean?
That's it. But these are the type of players that we can sign to pre-contracts. That's what I mean. Because they're, as a foreign body, we can. Yeah, so we can actually start speaking to some of these maybe for the terms for the summer. But
I mean, I would personally take Yilmaz over Sane.
What
you really rate him, don't you, Ant?
I do rate him, and not only that, Sane is very injury prone. He blows hot and cold. He is on his day a world class player on his day.
You know about Yilmaz though, Ant? Have we seen what league is that Galatasaray?
Galatasaray, yeah.
Has he played in any other leagues?
Oh yeah, he's been playing Champions League.
That's what I can't remember.
He's been playing Champions League in the Euros. He destroyed Virgil when
in the
Holland
Euros.
played
It was
Turkey.
fantastic. I know, and I'm being hypocritical now. I admit it.
You are.
In the Euros, he was outrageously good. The reason I say don't judge players on Euros and World Cups is because sometimes you're playing against the likes of Saudi Arabia and Costa Rica.
In the Euros, that'd be impressive.
Well, yeah, sorry. It will. I said World. No, I did say World Cup as well. I said Euros and World Cups. Yeah. Whereas because he's of a smaller nation, he's actually playing against the better nation. So you do get a little bit of more of an indication. And he was fantastic. And I think he's got like 9 goals in 16 games this season and several assists as well. So
it's his work rate.
His work rate. Yeah, he never stops. He's one of those players. The Forest fans would love him.
And I'll tell you what. He's worth 20 mil euros, about 60 million. They want more. I'll tell you what's fascinating. You can always tell when we do a transfer video because you tend to get that club's team commenting in the videos. We had loads of comments. So if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Loads of Galatasaray fans are like, you can't have him for 16. We want 30. He won't leave. He's excellent. Then you get the level-headed ones. You get level-headed ones who goes, he'd be fantastic. This is why he's good. That's why he's other. So I'm always very interested in those fans that see him week in, week out. And I've seen nothing but praise for him in the comments.
Yeah, because we've got that.
Anything, isn't it?
Yeah, it gave us that insight, especially when we were signing our Brazilians, didn't we? We got a lot of insight from South American fans.
Exactly. Right. We are on coming up to 600 people in here, over 259 likes. Get those likes up if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. Shout out to Forest Till I Die with the 17 months. Thank you so much, buddy. We got Jordan in the house as well. Window 199 says, hey, boys, hope you're all good tonight. We're good, mate. It's a feisty debate. That's what the transfer window does for us. And excuse me, my throat today. And Curtis as well, our American bud with the $5 says squad should be goalkeeper 2 to 3, LBRB 4, centre backs 4 to 5, DMs 2, CMs 2 to 3, attacking mids 2 to 3, L-dubs right wings 5, strikers 3. I'm hoping that the maths there is about 25. Yeah. Shout out to Curtis, he's done his maths.
No, it doesn't have to be 25 because
it doesn't have to be 25. It can be
under
21, 22. 23.
But I do want to pick up. Thank you for the $5 there on that DM2, Rob. CDM. We got to talk about this. I think this is an important subject to talk about. Forest do not have a fit CDM currently, right? We've got Sangare, who just seems to can't be fit at all, picked up a new injury and what have you. By the way, a lot of you asking about Aina in the comments. Check out the video from yesterday. There was an update on it there. In terms of the CDM position, is this a priority? Do we have to get one in this window?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we would mainly agree that Ward-Prowse needs to go back this window, as long as we can bring in a midfielder, because he's not really doing it, is he? And he isn't a CDM.
Oh, I've got an update on the Ward-Prowse for tomorrow's video, mate. It's weird. But sorry, go on.
But I'm in the camp, and you know this, that I don't believe in the myth of Ibrahim Sangare. For me, he's something like sort of King Arthur or the Tooth Fairy, which is like he's great in principle, but in practice, what have we seen from him in a year and a half? A load of injuries, and he's a player that we bought when we were struggling for survival. Even if he comes back fully fit, I don't know whether he's going to be at the level that we need right now. And also, even if he was fit and great, we would want backup for him. So I think that this is still a key position for us, because I would like somebody to anchor the midfield while Anderson goes forwards. And I think we've seen that it isn't really Yates or Dominguez. Dominguez is probably the best of what we've got for the moment. But I don't know. So a couple of names, and remember, this is like nothing's wrong, everything's so currently injured, but due back, was great last year, hasn't really had much of a chance this year. Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace, right? He would be a good fit, I think. His career's kind of stalled because he got a groin injury early on this season. Even when he was playing, the Palace lads in the preview we said they were saying no, he hasn't quite hit the form. I don't know how
overworked.
Yeah, I don't know how he fits it. I mean, Glasner seems to have found a way to manage without him. He's one that could potentially, when he comes back to fitness, could come in on a loan until the end of the season, maybe a loan with an option. Another one that impressed me, certainly in the game that we played against them. I know he's 31 years old. I'm talking about how we patch up until the end of the season. Mario Lemina from Wolves. I thought he was a decent player, and he didn't play in their last game. May not be fully fit. The kind of person that we could make a move for, say, fill that slot for us until the end of the season. Could be, and if you say to him, because look, he's 31, right? So the way that you get him to come is you say
Lemina,
you buy him on a 2-year contract. Lemina.
Rob?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
I didn't know it was that old.
He's 31. But I think, I've identified, because I want to look mainly at Premier League clubs, right? And the likes of Wolves and Palace is probably where we should be looking now. So if they've got players who are good but out of sorts, and they're thinking, hey, I could go from 17th to third place team, we've got something to offer people like that. And with the two that I've just mentioned, I don't think that we're competing with Man City and Liverpool for those players. But I think that both not quite fit at the moment. But we've got to remember that there's like another 19 games to go. Yeah. So I don't know. But somebody like that.
It's interesting to say. I put a poll up in the chat. Have you given up on Sangare? 40% of you have said yes. 60%, 61 now have said no. It is getting tough to defend someone who's injured all the time. But the quality of the player is the quality. Just before I bring you in on it, and just want to shout out to Steph with the $10. She says, hey, gents, happy new year from Boston. Come on, you Reds, for me. Cohesion of the team is paramount for us for the rest of the season. I agree, Steph. That's why I don't want these troublemakers like him. But thank you, Steph, for the $10. What are you saying on Sangare? And I think me and you are his last line of defense these days, aren't we?
I still haven't given up on him. But
that's a great shout. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Gibbs-White. I like Gibbs-White, I still haven't given up on him. I mean, give the guy a break. He's injured. He doesn't do it on purpose. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you get an injury, I'm sure we're all aware of this, you tend to overcompensate with your other muscles, and it's very easy to have a secondary injury. It does happen quite a lot. Give the guy a break. He might come back. If he comes back, I think he'll be good for us. I think he'll be great for us, actually. I think he'll fit into this team beautifully. He's just got to get fit. And I can't defend his fitness record. I can't. I've said on here already tonight, don't want this player because he's always injured. I don't want this player because he's always injured. So I can't, I'm being a little bit hypocritical, but at least we're not buying him at the moment. We're stuck with him right now. So, let's see if he can come back from his injury. If he does, then we've got a good player on our hands.
People, such short memories. Yes, he's had injury problems, and he's had major injury problems since he's come to Forest, full stop. But his start to this season, if you remember his stats after 4 game weeks, he was miles ahead of everybody in terms of interceptions, breaking up play, and forward passes. He kept on top. He was top of those stats until game week 7. That's how far ahead of everybody else he was at the time. So people are forgetting the start he had to the season. I think he's one of those players that allows everybody else around him to play. Now, it took 2 players on Saturday to do when was the last game we had? Was it on Saturday or Sunday? It took Dominguez and Anderson to do that role to free up MG Dub. Now we can do that with one player. He is that good, but the problem is obviously his injuries. But what we can't be doing is writing off players who are still on our books, because people, I mean, maybe I'm too soft, but players do watch this. It does go back to them, and I just hate the fact that we write off players as soon as it's the same with Taiwo. How's it going to do? While they're still with us, we should be backing them to an extent. Yes, we can criticize them. That is part of our right as fans. But let's
Did that
be.
extend to Matt
Are you
Turner?
still backing Dennis?
No, I wasn't backing Dennis at the time. You lot were.
But he's a player. He's in the Forest books.
No,
Are you
but
hypocrite?
Listen, I didn't slag him off. I just said he wasn't good enough, and he wasn't good enough. And I was
You just said
right.
back the players we have, man. I don't know.
Ariata.
You didn't
Ariata.
slag him off. bro.
Ariata.
You
He's
just slag him off
Ariata.
when he was here. I
Yeah,
waited till he was
Ariata.
gone.
There are exceptions, there. There are exceptions. Don't worry.
Ariata's
Yeah, Lingard.
yeah, not proved the ball, isn't he?
Yeah. And what about
Yeah,
Turner?
not Turner, yeah.
Cujo. Well said. Turner's still a Forest player, Ez.
Yeah. Don't
No,
write
he's
him
not
off.
at Forest. Bring crypto in for any Turner.
Technicality.
Yeah. Like
All right,
Jonathan Thorpe says, out of sight, out of mind.
All right, before we get on to the bomb squad, because we're going to do that, I'm going to throw in one left ball name. Rashford.
No.
What is he on
I just need the
350
poll.
grand a week? We need
This
help
needs
with
a poll.
wages.
No,
He'd
free
never get that.
transfer, £1 a week. No.
You and
Yeah, I'm
Dave?
going back to Steph's comment about disruption and keeping
Yeah,
cohesion in the club.
exactly.
And I think he'd upset the cohesion 100%. He's not the type of character I want at my club. I don't care about money's not the issue for me. The issue is the character.
Yeah, and you're right, Ed. That was one of the points I was going to make as well. That I don't personally. I want 1 or 2 players, possibly 3, as squad members and challenging for the first team. We don't need to mess about a lot because that unit is what is doing for us what it's doing. It's the unit we have. We're a better team than Manchester City, for example. We might not have better players, but we're a bloody better team, and that's what we must maintain. We don't want to disturb that too much.
Right. I've just said the name, right? I can't believe people say Wolfie, seriously. I wouldn't take Man U's cleaner just because they're associated with Man U,
She's
right?
pretty good. She's pretty good. To be
Just because
Actually,
I'm
she's
saying
not.
that-
She's
She's
not.
not.
Bloody rat. Nice.
She's not nice, mate. She's not good.
You're right. You're right.
I'm just putting it out. You would take their cleaner out while they got rats and mice flowing.
no.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
Could be a
no.
guy.
But as always, for the sake of fairness, I'm going to chuck these names about of players that are available. So that's all I'm doing. Just taking the
Hey,
pin
a
out of the grenade.
fifth of our chat at the moment would take him. A fifth.
Yeah. 20% are saying, 21% are saying yes. Fair enough. If they think there's a player in there, it's entirely
And
up
they
to
might be
us. The
right.
beauty of this.
They might be right. We might
Exactly.
be wrong.
A couple more super chats. Andrew with the £5 says, "Evening, guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work." Thank you so much, Andrew. Hope you're
Andrew.
well, buddy. We got Curtis with another $5. He says, "I think a good environment and lower expectations would maybe bring out the world-class Rashford. I would do it at a reasonable price." There you go. That's a sensible argument back. Mine is just like emotive. I hate Man U.
Yeah,
So
it's the
that's
emotive side of it. Because if you look at somebody like Sancho, who's gone to Chelsea, he's revitalized himself, So in the right
and he was
environment,
meant to
he
be
plays-
poisonous.
I agree, but I would say the difference, in my opinion, is that Sancho wasn't given much of a chance at Man United. Rashford's been given loads of chances at Man United.
Nottingham.
That's different.
Okay. And Chris with the £2 says, "MGW's best mate Gomez is available." Oh, I would take him.
Angel Gomez, yeah, he's out of contract in the summer as well.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get him.
No, I don't think.
What's
But
What's the
What about
chance
this
that
name?
Man U might be prepared to pay the entire wages of Rashford on loan just to get him out of the club?
They would do that. They would
Top
do
window.
that.
Yeah.
They would do that.
So we're basically saying we'd have him completely for free.
No, I wouldn't. I don't want him disrupting that.
We've identified
Every
winger and
game it would be
forward.
about Rashford, Rob. Every game would be about Rashford. You would not hear the words Nottingham Forest ever again. It'll be Rashford.
Well, like Frank Lampard's derby. Frank Lampard's derby.
Yeah,
Marcus
we don't need it,
Rashford's
mate.
Forest.
Yeah, we don't need. Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Oh, he's gone. I think
Rashford's
he should wait.
agent heard him talking, mate. Got rid.
I just think, for me, obviously, we can't take somebody on 350 grand a week. If he was fully paid for and we could send him back at any moment, he does cover 2 of the 3 positions that we've mentioned.
he's not number 9. He's not number. I agree with Mourinho. He's not number 9.
He's a left winger. He's a left winger, isn't he?
It's nothing.
All right. Let's move on. Right, the chat spoke. 78% are saying no to him.
So if
Final
you took
name-
emotion out of it, though,
Well, I can't
you
make
could.
Man U.
I mean, He could either be an absolute sensation. It could be an absolute sensation.
Right.
It'd be shit.
If we took him and he
no
scored
middle
on his
ground with him.
debut against Liverpool, would you still hate him?
If what?
If we took him and he scored on his debut against Liverpool and we
The
win
winner.
1-0, would you still hate him?
As long as we won and we could get rid of him straight after the match.
Straight after, yeah.
Actually, that would be the classy move, wouldn't it? Yeah, thanks, Rashford. You can go.
Now, you know what I would take? If we got him on loan and he could play against his parent club,
Yeah.
and he scored the winner at Old Trafford, Stretford
We've
End,
already
and
done
just
it, mate.
shushed
We've
them.
already
I know,
done
I'm
it.
just saying. So I can't take him. I can't take him. Okay, final name before we move on to who's leaving. James McAtee
McAtee, yeah.
from Man City, who was on loan to Sheffield last season, and Forest are very interested in him.
Were we linked with him in the summer? Was his name mentioned around us?
I think it may have been. Now, the Man City boys are telling me what a player. He was the best of the crop that was coming through.
Right. So
Jimmy doesn't rate him as highly. Jimmy doesn't rate him as highly with Sheffield.
I've seen a
Jimmy
clip.
brought Sheffield though.
Yeah, forget Jimmy.
Honest.
I saw a clip from Cole Palmer, and he was saying he was one of the most skillful players in that group. He says the way he would nutmeg players at will, just in training. He says he was one of the most skillful players there. So I'd take it from him, you know. But he's one that we've seen. He's played a couple of games recently, hasn't he? And I think he got an assist on the weekend, or certainly the goal that led to the assist. He made the move for it. So he's coming from Man City. He's only 20 years old, I believe.
I mean, 21.
22.
22, is he?
You go.
He's still a kid either way. He fits a couple of roles because he's more of a, I would say he's more of a Anderson type player, to be honest, without the physique. But
can we take him on loan first? Because the thing is, right, he could be another Anderson or he could be another Gio Reyna. So we just don't know. So can we take him on loan first?
I'm thinking, is he better than Danilo? And I don't know if he is. That's my
He's not type player, though. It's not really Danilo type player, is he?
I don't know.
It's more of an attacking midfielder than a defensive midfielder, which Danilo's supposed to be. But anyway, I personally really like the guy, and if the ideal for us, if it's possible, would be to get him on loan now for the rest of the season with an option to buy.
Yeah.
That would be, for me, that would be the ideal, because I've loved him when I've seen him. I didn't see a lot of him with Sheffield, obviously, but I've seen him a few times with Man City, and I've always been very, very impressed with him. He's definitely skillful, and it's the ideal thing. He's able to just see what he can do for 6 months in the Premier League, isn't it?
I mean, it could be another Michael Johnson for them, you know, who was touted as one of the best midfielders ever, and he never made it, you know.
Yeah, well, he had bad injuries, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, But yeah, no, I like the idea. I certainly like the idea, and with a loan with an option to buy for the rest of the season. I'm not sure that's one of the most important positions to fill, but if that type of player becomes available, like I say, with the right deal, I'd be interested, certainly.
To be honest, with Manchester City's state at the moment, I don't know if they'd let him go.
No, I think apparently he's been touted. They want to let him. They're open to offers for him.
Oh, okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, but in that case, we should certainly chuck out. We're in the position now, you know, third in the table, where we can seriously chuck our hat in the ring, and that sounds like a joke. But I
think Man City do sell to their rivals. They've got no problem about selling to their rivals, you know.
No.
So,
Okay, Brandon, love you, bro, but Ganacho, no. Put him in that Rashford camp for me. Yeah. Okay, one final name, because the chat have been asking about him.
Sorry, before you do.
What?
Before you do, we've not really mentioned something with. I don't know what stage we're at the moment. Let's go freestyle. But the Yuri Alberto that we've not really mentioned when we were talking about strikers. Sorry, and a few people in the chat mentioned.
Yeah, he's probably coming. He's probably coming.
Yeah, I'm unsure because he's a Brazilian. We just don't know, do we?
Yeah, I'll get our Corinthian mates on, and we'll get the lowdown from them once that develops. I just want to chuck one name at you, Rob, because the chat keep going on about him. Delap.
Yeah.
Why would Ipswich let him go?
You just spoke about us going for teams like Crystal Palace and all that down there. You think we We can't
Two
take a
people
player off
mentioned
Ipswich.
are out injured at the minute, just about to come back. Lamina and Wharton, and their teams are currently managing without them, right? You're talking about someone that the entire Ipswich team is built around. They've got a fighting chance of staying up. They look, I rate him as a player, absolutely, but I think he's going to move in the summer once, whether Ipswich stay up or not, he will move in the summer.
Ipswich, if Ipswich had plans to stay up, they would have spent some serious money this summer. They're happy to take that.
They spent 100 mil, bro. What are you talking? They spent 100 mil.
Did they? On what? The fuck we spend it
on? Calvin Phillips, man.
No, Amari Hutchinson they bought.
He's a good player. I like him.
Yes,
he scored against Chelsea, didn't he?
Exactly.
He did.
I think they believe that they can do it, right? And I mean, they've only had 3 wins, but 2 of them have been in the last couple of games. So
yeah, but what's it going to take to get him away from there? It's not going to cost us over 40-50 million, is it? You know, it's going to be.
It might be if we try and buy him now, because I mean, the thing is, if they sell him,
you don't think it costs 40 million to get Delap from Ipswich?
No, I said it wouldn't cost that much. No,
Really?
I think 35, 40 within 30, under 40 million, you can make an offer and get him.
I'd say that physically he fits our system.
He does.
You know,
he does.
He's the right sort of profile. I like the player. I just cannot imagine why Ipswich would. I mean, what is it worth to them staying up? Yeah. So at the
I don't
minute,
think there's any chance, Rob, of them selling Ipswich.
Yeah, because I mean, look. Let's be realistic. Ipswich have got maybe 25-30% chance of staying up if they keep this squad together, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he goes, it's 0. It's and there'll be riots in Ipswich. Honestly,
Right. I can't imagine riots in
Ipswich. No, but I mean, the thing is,
rip the tractors out, man. Let's get
Jeff, what other big clubs? Where has he gone?
Yeah, no, it's true. He's right. Jeff's right. Chelsea won him.
We're a big club. Chelsea ain't a big club, man.
I don't think Chelsea will go for him.
Really? They've gone for everyone else. The only thing I'd say
he's been
is,
linked, by the way. I know he's been linked.
I'm just saying, with this Delap thing, do you not feel he's the Adebayor or whatever his name was of last season?
Why? No, he's better than that. He's got much more.
No. I'm not saying he's better or worse. I'm saying there was all this. I remember you lot in the chat last season, like, oh, let's go and get what's his name? Adebayor, not Adebayor.
Adebayo.
That's only because he beat up Joe Worrell. No, look, we were traumatized by him beating up Joe Worrell and getting Cooper sacked, right? And I think we probably overestimated his capabilities. I was never that excited about him.
My point is, boys, that the same hype on Delap now is the hype that was last year. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to see another season before I made my mind up.
Yeah,
because you could all players, particularly for promoted clubs, I find that you can get a player that, because everything is focused on him, every breakaway goes to him. They can have a reasonable season, 7 or 8 goals or 9, 10 goals, whatever, and people going crazy about them, but put them in a talented side, and all of a sudden they're not, and a side that has a bit of the ball, they're not as promising. By the way, Ipswich is 7 points below Man U, so it's not over.
Come on, Ipswich, come on, the tractor boys, man.
7 points below Man U.
I'll tell you what, if Forest got Nkunku, I'd do backflips naked, man. Honestly.
Yeah, but you know what?
He's not been good, though, has he?
He has been poor. He has been poor, but he's not had a run. He's just not had a run of games.
He's one that is available, and they're not using him right. I am telling you, in the Bundesliga, he was one of the best players I've seen.
Yeah, but does he suit our style?
Absolute quality.
Really?
But
does he suit our style?
Yes.
Not really.
He can play on the right. He can play as a false 9, as a 10, as a striker.
No, these players. I don't agree with his plays. He could play this. No. Get a player that can play well in one position. He can
play well in all of them. That's what I'm saying.
No, he doesn't, though, does he? He can't get a kick for Chelsea.
So?
Because they can't seem to fit him in. He's not a central striker.
No, he's not.
He can play that role. That's not his best role. He
can play in that role. Can he? What, like Chris Wood can? No.
No, he can't. That's what I'm saying. He can't. He's not ideal for that role. And no, please stop mentioning his name. This guy's dead to me, man. Don't mention his name, please.
That's not good. Okay, Right,
Is that
let's
serious?
move on to the bomb squad. So we still got about 560 odd of you in here. 300 likes. Let's see if we can get to 350. So do hit that like button. Let's get on to the ugly side of the transfer window, boys. The
For
bomb
outs.
squad. The
Yeah.
bomb squad. Ez, what you saying? Who needs to go here? Now let's not talk about the two loanees because there is a weird story behind them, right?
Yeah.
They may be staying, is what I'm gonna say, especially Ward Prowse. I'll tell you a lot about it tomorrow. But in terms of players we have that are done at Forest to free up some space, what are you thinking here, Ez?
Well, and it's not to get rid of him. It's just to get him some minutes. I'd send Amabamidele out on loan without a doubt. Give until the summer. There's a couple of teams in the top half of a championship that are interested. I know Sheffield have put their name in the hat, but also saw Leeds recently are interested in him. I think he'd suit either one of those clubs, and he's obviously got most of his experience from the championship, but he felt he did well when he came in last season in a struggling team. So he was thrown in at the deep end when we thought he was actually going to be sent out on loan last January, which didn't happen. He ended up playing because of our problems with AFCON and players that were missing all over the place and injuries we're having. So he ended up getting his chance last season, and I felt he did well. He didn't disgrace himself, that's for sure. But I think he needs minutes, and I'd send him to a top half championship. No, I might send him out with an option, but he needs minutes. He needs minutes. To be honest, I don't want to get rid of him, but I think he needs minutes right now.
What are you saying, Rob, on Amabamidele?
I like him. Is he the level of the M players? No. So if we're looking to keep Morato, Milenkovic, and Murillo, and then we've still got Bolly as a very capable backup for the rest of the year, I think he should go out on loan. I think it's unfair on the player just having him hanging around.
Would you sell him?
It depends on for what money, PSR, etc. Is someone coming the other way? He's not someone I'm looking to get rid of. I think he could still make it. I think he could still make it. Looking at the squad, he's the obvious one. We've already mentioned Awoniyi. I think that they actually did a very good job in the summer being ruthless, clearing out, especially with goalkeepers. They did a fantastic job of moving goalkeepers on. The only other one I would say could potentially do with a loan is Toffolo, because he's not getting the opportunities at the minute.
His contract's up at the end of the season. What's the point in sending him out?
I'd get rid.
So he's going to go on a free anyway, is he?
Yeah, he's going to go anyway, isn't he?
But then we
and I
potentially get some money for
I think the players enjoy. He's part of that camaraderie we're talking about. He's part of that back room. That does make a difference. I know he's not a cheerleader like bloody.
No, I'm just saying we may need to make room in the 25-man squad if we're bringing people in. That's all.
You have to put it out again, don't you? After the January transfer window, you have to.
You redo the squad.
Remember, Danilo was missed out of the because he got injured in the first game. I think they omitted him from the 25-man squad. So we may need a couple to go out to make room for incoming signings and people coming back from injury. So I think that the three that we've spoken about, Amabamidele, Awoniyi, striker, and Toffolo.
Adam's right. He did sign an extension on his contract. Yeah,
I like him as cover. I like him as cover, but Williams looks so good right now at left back. And if we've got Moreno staying for whatever reason, then I think Toffolo doesn't get a game, and he's using up a squad place that we might need for somebody else. I like the guy, like the player. Just if we were going to look for people to make room, it might be him.
Unlike you lot, I've got no hesitation in saying get rid of Amabamidele. Just sell him. If we can get our money back, brilliant. He's not good enough, and he won't be good enough. He's not good enough, and he won't be.
So I remember how well he played alongside Murillo against.
We've moved on a hell of a long way from when we bought Amabamidele. We at that time we had the likes of Worrell, etc., playing in the side. We've moved on way past that.
Okay, but is Bolly good for next season? Is Bolly good for next season?
No.
Right?
No. No.
Okay.
No, we need another centre back.
Are Murillo and Milenkovic the two top of everybody's shopping list?
Yes.
All right. So
That doesn't mean I want
then,
Deli to be there. That's like saying keep Worrell because we're getting rid of our players.
Put him out on loan until the summer and seeing what happens.
Yeah, he's 22, 23 years old. He's still a kid. You know,
he's not good enough. It's not good enough.
No, I think he did. Do you think he disgraced himself last season? I think.
I thought he was very, very average. Everybody was blowing him up because they were desperate for him to do well.
He made a few mistakes against Villa, and he scored that own goal against Brighton. That's against him. But in the game where we lost to Liverpool in the 99th minute,
he was just average. He didn't cover the ground.
In the game against Liverpool, where he was playing alongside Murillo, I thought that is our
championship player, Rob. In my opinion, he's a championship player.
Yeah,
and we'll see what the future.
Joe Worrell's championship players. I'm about to tell you better than them.
Future brings with him. We shall see what the future brings.
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell him.
He will not be a Premier League player. He will not be a Premier League player.
The chat has spoken on this
and
one on
Mbamidele.
Let's be honest. The main reason Ant wants to sell him is because he hates saying his name. He always has done, right?
Could be something in that.
With Mbamidele, you guys are saying 15% would sell him, 80% would loan him out, and 5% would keep him. And I've just checked up on Tuffalo's contract, and Ez is right. It's out at the expires 30th of June 25. So he did his last extension last January. Sorry, yes?
Yeah, I didn't think he didn't get another extension. I know that.
No, that was the extension. It was last Jan for a year. So Tuffalo's out of contract at the end of this year. He's 29 years. Guys, I'd get rid. I just think, like, even if we're stuck, Aina can cover back at left back. You got De Silva who could play there. Nico Williams, as Rob, you were saying, he's playing well.
Yeah, no, I agree. We could sell him, but by the same token, I wouldn't be annoyed if we kept him. I think he'll probably be on very low wages compared with most Premier League fullbacks, and he's a decent fullback. He could come on for the last 10 minutes and do a job. I don't know.
Can you remember how much we paid for him? Because it was about 10, 12 million.
He was a 2-for-1 deal with O'Brien. 10 million for the pair.
Oh no, sorry, I'm talking about Omobamidele. I've gone back to Omobamidele.
Omobamidele, 11 mil.
11 mil, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not gonna go down in value for me at his age. I think he's just increasing value. I think he's one of those Moneyball type players that we signed early on. Hoping that he will increase. He will. I think he's got a longer contract. You know. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So, Ant, who you got on the bomb squad?
Mbamidele can go.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse can go.
All right.
Taiwo can go if we get a replacement. Toffolo can go. Who else is in knocking about doing fuck all? Dennis, yeah, obviously Dennis can go.
O'Brien's coming back, by the way. He's back.
Yeah, O'Brien can go. We've moved on.
Yeah,
we've moved on. Sosa can go.
You get rid of Sosa?
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, so pause on that, man. Well, what's he?
I knew that one would not. I mean, I don't want us to lose money on it. No, Jota Silva can go as well. Look, I'm aiming for the top. I'm aiming for.
You know what? I'm kind of with Ant on this because I said before. Those two? Which other teams would they get into in the top half of the table?
Yeah, we need to add a winger.
And they're our backup
now at the end of the season. We need one more winger.
I'm shocked. I thought.
No, I agree, but I just don't think they're good enough. I think we need better players than them.
Either of those could go in the summer. Based on how they play in the second half of the season.
Sorry, I am talking summer. I'm thinking summer. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how they do in the second half of the season.
Right now, I'd get rid of Ward-Prowse. I'm not bothered. Mbamidele could stay. I don't care. I can get rid of Ward-Prowse. Who else we got on loan?
Moreno.
Oh no, we'll keep him. No, as far as I'm concerned, just get rid of Ward-Prowse. And bring
Who
players
says
in.
Yates can go?
Who
says Yates can go?
Get your head in the right space. We're going for Europe now.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I agree because they've had half a season to prove themselves, Jota Silva and Sosa, and I don't think they've really broken into that team. When at times we've all said, Alanga's not performing. There's been games when Hudson-Odoi's not performing, but they've not really managed to break in. They've been brought in when we've covered injuries and
I
things
mean,
like that. So.
Ed, we all love Jota Silva running
Yeah,
about, kicking people, heading the ball, all that lot, but he doesn't actually create much or do
We need
much.
that next
You know what I
level.
mean?
Yeah.
And when you
against
exactly, Ed,
Brighton, him
you
and
need to
Sosa.
look above that level. If we're going to be in Champions League, we need to look above that level.
There's a couple of wingers at Brighton I do like. Do you just mention their names?
Yeah,
Brighton. Brighton, I love the look
one of their players is not getting any games. Is it Enciso? He looks a good player.
And Ciso's quality, man.
Yeah,
he'd be challenging MG Dub, I guess.
Yeah, and he's not getting any game time at Brighton. So,
All right. Well, basically, not many is the answer.
Yeah,
between you guys, you're talking about peripherals here, aren't you? Apart from Andy.
We did a lot of hard work in the summer. We had an excellent summer in terms of not only recruitment, but also getting rid of a lot of the deadwood and moving them on. And for good deals, you know, look what we got for our goalkeeper, Vlachodimos, you know. So obviously there was some PSR dealings and all that sort of stuff involved in that. But we did it, you know, and we got rid of a lot of the deadwood. So I think it's minimal in January, but just one or two players that we've mentioned, you know, maybe Toffolo if you can send him out on loan, but until you got backup, I guess you keep him. But you send Ward-Prowse back, and you'll give us an update tomorrow, so I won't ruin any of that.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It really is. Okay, a few in the chat are saying about Yates. Would anyone get rid of Yates?
No, not at all.
No,
not now. Not now. We're talking now, January.
Talking now, yeah, Jan.
Yeah, not now. No. The thing is, we're third in the table, playing really, really well. We've got a good, established, close-knit, bonded team. And that's what we want. That's what's helping us a lot. And that's what we want to keep. So just bring one or two, maybe, you know.
And that's why, for me, Toffolo can stay till the end of the season because he's part of that group. They like him. You know, he's
unless they need
a freaking social club, man. Come on.
I agree with you.
Unless they need a spot, obviously,
It's not, but I found out watching football that actually it fucking well is. It's a social club. You get rid of one player and all the others start mighty arsing. You know what I mean?
I mean, we have to remember what happened at the end of last year's January transfer window, where they actually ran out of space and they had to look at Turkey and US to get rid of Joe Worrell and Lewis O'Brien then. So I'd like there to be a little bit more planning around it this time, rather than like, what do we do? Get someone out quick, send them to Turkey. So
look how our fortune fell off when Lingard left.
Please never say that name on this channel
I'm sorry.
again.
I apologize.
Honestly. Okay, well, it's interesting. I'm more interested in what the chat is saying than you lot, to be honest, man. They got some crazy names going on in there. It's been great. Okay, I'm gonna finish with this question. How many signings do we need this window, Rob?
If we only got a striker,
I'm not saying names. I'm saying like positionally.
If we only
get your number in, chat. Sorry, Rob. Get your number in. How many signings do we need? Go on. Sorry, Rob.
Well, one is the absolute minimum. If we only got a striker and it was the right signing, we've had a good window. I would probably like a couple more, and I think we'll probably bring in 3 or 4, but most of those will be loans. But the striker is an absolute necessity. Because if Wood gets injured now, we are in serious, serious trouble. I'd love him to play every game to the end of the season and get 20 goals. But we have to say that is the number one risk in terms of us making it into Europe. Chris Wood and the risk over his fitness. So one is the absolute minimum for me.
May that be such a boring transfer window, man. Forest don't do ones, man.
I wouldn't be bored if we signed Gimenez or somebody like that. I would not be bored. And by the way, actually, that's a good point, right? So we've had the discussion about Taiwo. Who gets excited if Taiwo comes on 65 minutes? I certainly don't, right? If Gimenez was coming on 65 minutes, I'd be excited. So maybe that's the test that we need to apply in terms of the profile of striker we're bringing on and we're bringing in. Is this someone you'd want to bring on after 65 minutes and you'd be excited to see what they do? That's probably the test we need to think in terms of.
You know, a striker name that's not been mentioned.
Sorry.
A striker's name has not been mentioned, and for the sake of crypto, I'm going to mention him because he would have mentioned him if he was here. Victor Osimhen. Any chances?
Goat mentioned him the other day, man. I mean, come on, man.
Did Goat mention?
No, but the fact, no. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. But if
But look where
nobody
he
else
is.
goes in for him, then there's an opportunity because
And look
he's
where he
playing
is.
for Fenerbahce, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not in the top leagues. So to
Yeah.
come to Nottingham Forest in third position, I don't know if I mentioned that. Come to Nottingham Forest in third position in the Premier League to get himself in the shop window for next season, perhaps.
It's the kind of player that Mr. Marinakis.
If Fenerbahce can do it, as we can do it.
Yeah, it's the kind of player that Mr. Marinakis wouldn't be ashamed to throw a cheeky bid in for. You know,
You're not serious on this. So you're not serious.
I'm serious on it.
Why not? If he was still at Napoli, I would say no, but he's not. He's on loan at Fenerbahce.
And if it was all these clubs vying for his signature, but not.
He's at Galatasaray here. Says he's at Galatasaray. So while they're out there getting Yilmaz, they could say, look, you know, pop in
and get him like it. Oh,
who said he's not at Galatasaray?
No, he is at Galatasaray.
He's at Galatasaray. I don't know, guys, man. That's the straight.
Galatasaray.
Sorry, I
he's
apologize.
He's a teammate of Yilmaz.
Oh, is he?
Oh, no, I'm getting all excited now. That's all it takes for Ant to get excited. But
I know. Well, Crypto would have mentioned him, so I thought I'd do him the honor. And
I don't know Serie A that closely, but his goal-scoring record for Napoli is outstanding. So I wouldn't say no.
Yeah,
would I be excited?
The guy that was counted at 100 mil.
It would only be a loan as well. It would only be a loan.
Excuse me.
Because he's owned by Napoli.
I don't know. I think you guys are getting giddy with third in the league, man. I don't think even I'd be putting him on my shopping list.
Hang on a minute. Haven't we just hired the CEO from Napoli? Or am I wrong there?
Roma.
Are you sure she wasn't at Napoli?
I'm
Linda.
sure Roma,
what's her name? Check her out.
Brunette.
Check her out.
Yeah. Okay.
No, normally, Wolfie, I would, you know what I'm like. Just no joke. They're idiots. What are you on about? But because he's on loan at Galatasaray, we are a bigger, better club than Galatasaray.
500k
a week in the Premier League. Yeah, that Owen, you're right.
Oh, just that minor detail. Yeah, that minor detail.
No, forget him. You're right.
Oh, don't worry about it, Owen. Ant's got it sussed out, right? We're going for Yilmaz. Therefore, while we're there, you know, you're in the shop anyway. You might as well grab the seconds. That's what I'm saying.
How can Galatasaray afford £500,000 a week?
I mean,
that
they're back,
especially with their exchange rates, mate, in Turkey.
Yeah. Mark's saying the song's back from Rochdale. Start blooding him, but I doubt it. I like him, you know. I think he's got good.
I like him, but he's got a long way to go to crack into a Premier League team.
A long way to go out the city ground. Yeah,
I can't keep up with this chat. There's too many comments. All right, so and how many do you want to see signed this window? Rob's saying one. That's pretty boring.
I actually agree with pretty much everything Rob said. I think that one is vital, and that is.
You've argued with him the whole stream, mate.
Violent agreement.
I don't know if we have disagreed. We might have argued. But I don't mean
if Ant and I are 1% different, we can different. We'll find a way to make that 1% look like 99.
And did you disagree with him saying that you disagree? Is that what just happened?
I do disagree with that. Yeah.
So God, how many?
No, I would say one is needed. 2 would be great. 3 would be better. That's a real Nancy boy answer. Sorry for any woke guys out there. Sorry.
Too late for that now.
It's out of his mouth. It's too late. Can't take it back. Live TV, baby. All right. So he's saying 3-ish, I think.
I'm saying 1 is vital. 2 would be nice. 3 would be better. We don't need any more than 3, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. What are you saying, Ez?
The striker is the most important position I would do, or I'd rather spend like 40-50 million on the striker and that be the position that we fill and we get a long-term quality player. That's what I'd rather do.
Yep.
You're boring. I want 5, man. 5.
You know,
you've got content every day.
I'm just thinking, can you imagine the deadline day stream when we do it this month and it's like one player in and we're just sitting there staring at each other?
We'll just put the tumbleweed on the screen.
All right. Well, chat, you've been fabulous. I don't know so much about the panel. Back to I think we got a transfer video or a Wolves preview. I can't remember which one it is. I think you lot want a transfer video because you guys... views on the transfer video this week have been crazy. So shout out to you lot. Please do make sure you've hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed. You got my weekly predictions out over on the Footy Network. There is a striker video as well on Patreon for the Patreonees amongst you with updates on the strikers. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow on whatever the hell content comes out. Thank you so much for watching. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds.
You're it.